welcome back to my channel. My name is Bailey, and for today's video, I am so excited for this video. Oh my goodness. Today's video, we are gonna be doing Taylor Swift songs as book recs. And I don't think I've talked about it on this channel, but I am like one of the biggest Taylor Swift fans. I've been a Taylor Swift fan since 2006. So, since I was like 8, and now I'm 24, almost 25. So, these are all of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, so I hope you guys also like some of these songs. Because I was just gonna do random, but then I was like, why not do my favorite Taylor Swift songs as book recs? So that's what we're doing today, and I cannot wait to get into this video. So excited. So let's get into Taylor Swift songs as book recs. If I'm looking down, I have my iPad right here, just so I have the lyrics that I want to relate to the books, and I can remember exactly what songs I picked. The first song is All the Girls You Loved Before. I love this song, adore this song. It's huge on TikTok right now, I feel like. This has been one of my favorite songs for so long, probably since Lover came out. But the book that I wanted to relate All the Girls You Loved Before to is Heartless by Elsie Silver. Oh my goodness, I love this book. I've talked about this book many times on this channel. I almost feel like I kind of want to flip the song a little bit for this book, because this book is about Cade and Willa. This is the second book in the Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver, like I said. I would definitely recommend reading the first one first, but you don't have to. This could be read as a standalone. But this is about Willa and Cade, and Willa has no job right now. She used to work at a bar, and they're doing construction on the bar, so she doesn't have a job. And then Cade is a single father. He has a son named Luke, who is the most adorable thing ever, and he is in desperate need of a nanny. But the reason I thought this related to All the Girls You Loved Before is because Cade has been badly hurt by Luke's mom. The lyric that I think this relates directly to is, "Every dead-end street led you straight to me. Now you're all I need. I'm so thankful for all the girls you loved before, but I love you more." And I just think that I almost sense it as like how Cade feels about Willa, because he has been so turned off from love and women after everything that happened with Luke's mom. And then Willa comes in and she just changes his entire opinion on love. And it's the cutest thing ever. I adore this book, and I highly, highly recommend reading Heartless if you like the song All the Girls You Loved Before. The next song is Enchanted. This is from Speak Now. I adore this song literally so much. Obviously, these are all my favorite songs. I don't need to keep saying that I adore them because they're all my favorite. I related Enchanted to Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. This book, I think I've also talked about this book on here before. This book is about Ariana. She's our female MC, and she has a brother, and then it's about her brother's two best friends and then her best friend. The five of them have been best friends, since childhood. They have grown up together. They've always gone on vacation together to this beach house, and Ariana has always had a crush on Chase. And then finally, one summer, something happens between them, but Chase is like, no, this cannot happen. There's no way. So he breaks Ariana's heart. And Ariana, while they're at this beach house, she meets a boy by the name of Noah, who I absolutely adore. Nothing really happens between them. They just stay friends for the summer because she's still like caught up on Chase. And then all five of them, so Chase, Ariana, and then all their best friends, they end up going to college. They all go into the same college, and Noah also happens to be going to that same college. And this is essentially Ariana and Noah's love story. But the reason I related it to Enchanted is because something happens to Ariana in this book, and it kind of puts a whole split in between her and Noah. The reason that I think this book fits Enchanted even more, I almost look at it from Noah's perspective, and the lyrics that I would say is, "This is me praying that this was the very first page, not where the storyline ends. My thoughts will echo your name until I see you again. These are the words I held back as I was leaving too soon. I was enchanted to meet you." So, it's just so good. But whatever happens, I can't say, I wish I could, but I'd spoil the book. The thing that happens between Noah and Ariana and what happens to Ariana captures that lyric perfectly, especially from Noah's point of view. So highly recommend this one if you like the song Enchanted. The next song, which is one of my favorite songs ever, is Death by a Thousand Cuts. This is also from Lover. And I related this song to Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I actually just finished this book. It is amazing. I adore it. This book is about Evangeline. She thinks that everybody has one true love, and she thinks her one true love is this boy named Luke. But Luke actually ends up getting engaged to her sister and almost tries to marry her sister, but Evangeline wants to stop the wedding. And she makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts. They have these princesses and princesses of fate. And she makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts to stop the wedding, and his name is Jax. We love him. And she is intrigued by Jax right away, even though she's not supposed to be. And she finds herself always being drawn to Jax throughout the entire book. This book is so good. There's so much action. Stephanie Garber, the amount of imagination she has and just how well she builds worlds is absolutely incredible. So I think that this book mostly relates to the lyrics of my heart, my hips, my body, my love, trying to find a part of me that you didn't touch. Gave up on me like I was a bad drug, and I'm searching for signs in a haunted club. Our songs, our films, united we stand, our country, guess it was a lawless land. Quiet my fears with the touch of your hand, paper cut strings from our paper thin plans. My time, my wine, my spirit, my trust, trying to find a part of me you didn't take up. Gave you too much, but it wasn't enough, but I'll be all right, it's just 1,000 cuts. And I feel like that describes just exactly how much Jax affects Evangeline. She almost feels like Jax is like a bad drug because she's so intrigued by him, and like she doesn't want to be intrigued by him and she doesn't want to follow him, but she does. And this is her story, and I cannot wait to read the second book because I adore this. And it's young adult also, so it's very easy to read. So if you like the song Death by 1,000 Cuts, highly would recommend reading Once Upon a Broken Heart. The next song is King of My Heart. This is from Reputation. Reputation is my favorite album, so I'm surprised I actually didn't put more songs from this album. But I related King of My Heart to The Right Move by Liz Tomford. I have talked about this book many times. If you have watched any of my other videos, you know I adore this book. This book is about Ryan and Indy. Ryan, this is the second book in the Windy City series by Liz Tomford. Ryan is, so the female MC in the first book, he is her brother. And Indy is her best friend. Indy's boyfriend ends up cheating on her. She has nowhere to go. Her boyfriend ex-boyfriend kicks her out of her apartment, so she has nowhere to go. So Stevie, who is her best friend and Ryan's sister, is like, hey, can Indy move in with you because you have this huge apartment? Because Ryan is a huge, like, famous basketball player. Like, think like LeBron James, that's Ryan. And he has this huge apartment, he's never there. So Stevie's like, can Indy move in with you? So she does. And they have this forced proximity thing going on. And their love story, the way that Ryan loves her and just picks up the pieces that her ex-boyfriend has broken, is just the most gorgeous and like beautiful love story I've ever read. I could talk about this book forever because it's so good, but the lyrics I think relate closely to this are, King of my heart, body and soul, all at once you're all I want, I'll never let you go. King of my heart, body and soul, and all at once I've been waiting, and all at once you are the one I have been waiting for all my life. And that's literally Indy. I feel like that's exactly how Indy feels about Ryan, because Indy has always wanted to have this like love story. Like she reads romance books, which we love, but she always wants to have something that she reads in her romance books. And then Ryan comes along and he basically does that for her. And she has been waiting for a guy like Ryan her entire life. So highly would recommend reading The Right Move if you like the song King of My Heart. The next song is The Archer. This is from Lover. Again, can you tell I love Lover as an album? But The Archer, and I think The Archer most closely relates to the Boys of Tommen series. You guys have also heard me talk about this. Specifically, I feel like The Archer relates to Johnny and Shannon's books, but I also feel like it could be used for Joey and Aoife's books if you've read those. But these books are so good. I have talked about these so many times. Again, these books about Johnny and Shannon, like I said. Shannon's father is abusive, and she is also bullied at the school that she used to go to. So she ends up transferring to Tommen College, and that is where she meets Johnny. The first day, he actually ends up accidentally kicking a rugby ball into her head because Johnny is like one of the best, actually he is the best rugby player at their school and like almost in the country. So he's like super successful rugby player. And right away, Johnny is intrigued by Shannon because of just how like little she is, and he feels like this need to protect her. And after everything that Shannon has gone through at her old school and with her father who is abusive and her home, like Johnny just kind of swoops in and saves her. The lyrics that most relate to the Boys of Tommen series for me are they hate my reflection for years and years. I wake in the night, I pace like a ghost. The room is on fire, invisible smoke, and all of my heroes die all alone. Help me hold on to you. I've been the archer, I've been the prey, screaming who could ever leave me, darling, but who could stay? Because they see right through me. They see right through me. And I just feel like Shannon is literally like, that is her life story. She has been the prey her entire life. She has been bullied by kids at school. She's been hated by everyone at her school. She has this abusive father who is just awful to her. And then Johnny kind of swoops in and he actually does save her. Like he does save her life, basically. And I just love their love. It is so good. Like I always say with this series, if you listen to anything I say in this video, please let it be to read the Boys of Tommen series because you will not regret it. It is just so developed, and I think that's what I love about it the most, is that it's so developed and it's so emotional. Definitely check trigger warnings before you do read these though. There is a lot of heavy content and there could be triggers in this book, all of the books in this series actually, so definitely check content or trigger warnings before you get into these. But if those triggers do not bother you, please, if you ignore everything else in this video, please just don't ignore this, and please read the Boys of Tommen series because it is just so amazing. The next song is Don't Blame Me. This is also from Reputation, and I closely related Don't Blame Me to Haunting and Hunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. Like I just said with the Boys of Tommen series, please look up trigger warnings and content warnings for these. These are very, very dark romance. So if you are not into dark romance, do not pick these up. They're very dark. There's a lot of dark subject, especially in Hunting Adeline. It's heavy. It's a very heavy book. Please check your content warnings for these because it's heavy. These books are about Zaid and Adeline. And Zaid is actually Adeline's stalker. Like I said, very dark romance, but he is fascinated. He's obsessed with Adeline, and she is just like, she's creeped out, but she's also intrigued the entire time. They end up falling in love, which, like I said, dark romance, they end up falling in love, but there's a lot, I can't say too much because there's a lot of just like heavy stuff in here that I don't really think I'm allowed to say on YouTube. So, but these are their love stories, and just the amount of love that they have for each other. I know it sounds weird because you're gonna be like, she falls in love with her stalker. Let me just listen, okay? It's their love for each other and the way that it develops, especially in the second book. Oh my gosh. And it just reminds me of Don't Blame Me just because of how deep that song is. And when she says, don't blame me, love made me crazy, that is these two. Because Zaid, that line encapsulates Zaid pretty much because he is obsessed with Adeline and he is so in love with her that he will do literally anything and everything to protect her. So that's why we love Zaid. Zaid is literally one of my top book boyfriends after reading this, so I don't know. But like I said, definitely check content and trigger warnings for these because they are very, very dark. This one, I actually believe that it got banned off of Amazon for a while because of the content in it. So like I said, please check your trigger warnings. But if you're okay with those triggers and you like the song Don't Blame Me, would highly recommend Haunting and Hunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. The next song is Maroon, which is my favorite song off of Midnight. Maroon, for me, relates most to The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is the third book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. Highly recommend reading the whole series because it just makes this one even better, but I adore this book. I think I talked about this book on here before because I adore it. This book is about Callahan and Alana. They have been childhood best friends, but something happened between them and they had a falling out because of something that Callahan did. And Callahan comes from a super wealthy family. Callahan's grandfather, think of him as like Walt Disney. He owns a whole theme park operation and movies and like all this stuff. And he ends up passing away. And her grandfather leaves each of the brothers a different task that they have to complete to get their inheritance. So the first book you have Rowan, and he has one task that he has to complete. Declan is the second book, and he has another task he has to complete. And then Callahan, his task is that he has to go to their old summer lake house and stay there for the summer. But little does he know that Alana is actually living in this house with her daughter. And Cal shows up and he's like, what is happening? Because obviously he's not prepared for Alana and her daughter to be there. And they had this big falling out. They have not talked since they had that falling out. And yeah, but this is their love story, and their love for each other is beautiful. Like I said about The Right Move, when you actually find them working towards things, and the fact that like they will literally do anything for each other, even though like of what happened in the past, but they still will do anything for each other, and it's just so cute. And I think the lyrics that relate to this the most are, when the silence came, we were shaking, blind and hazy. How the hell did we lose sight of us again? Sobbing with your head in your hands. Ain't that the way shit always ends? You were standing hollow-eyed in the hallway. Carnations you had thought were roses. That's us. And if you know, you know. I feel like those lyrics, if you know, you know. If you've read Final Offer, that why they relate to this, because of what had happened between them. Those lyrics just, I feel like, just capture their dynamic. I definitely recommend reading Final Offer if you love the song Maroon. The next song is Love Story. This has been one of my favorite songs since it came out back in 2008, I think. And I think Love Story just so relates to Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. This book is incredible. This book is about Bree and Archer. Something happens with Bree. Also, please ignore the tabs. I read this when I first started tabbing, and the fact that these are so far out, just too much for me. This book is about Bree and Archer, and Bree has had something happen to her, and she ends up going to this small town in Maine because she wants to forget everything. She wants to lose herself. She wants a new, fresh start after what happened to her. And the first day she's there, she meets Archer, and Archer's kind of like, he's kind of the town like reject because he doesn't speak, so everyone just thinks he's so weird, like everyone avoids him, all this stuff because he doesn't speak to anybody, because he cannot speak. And Bree is immediately intrigued by him, and Archer's immediately intrigued by Bree, and their love story is just beautiful because somehow Bree is the only person that can communicate with Archer, and they develop this so strong emotional connection, which is why I relate it to Love Story, because Love Story is just one of those songs that's just like makes you feel like you are a hopeless romantic no matter what, because it's all about Romeo and Juliet and just having this like epic love story, hence the name of the song Love Story. And I feel like that just so relates to Archer's and Bree's story. I can't even pick a specific lyric of Love Story. I feel like the entire song relates to this book. So if you love the song Love Story, highly recommend reading Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. The next song I have is also from Fearless. This is The Way I Loved You. Also adore this song. Of course, like I said, my favorite Taylor Swift songs. I related The Way I Loved You to Addicted to You by Kristen Becca Ritchie. This is the first book of the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. Please read that whole series, but specifically Lily and Lo. I wasn't gonna pull down all their books, but just I'm saying Addicted to You because this is the first book and you have to read the series in order. But Lily and Lo, I feel like The Way I Loved You is their love story. Not so much that they've ever been in love with anybody else, but they are so in love with each other, and their love story is messy because they start off as a fake dating couple because Lily is a sex addict and Lo is a alcoholic. So they have been fake dating for years, basically, and they live together, all this stuff, because they are hiding their addictions from both their families, because their families are super wealthy, super just like high up families that you don't want to have any scandals or anything like that. Like the Callaways, think like Kardashians. That's kind of what I relate them closely to. They're just a huge, successful, rich family. So obviously they can't have any scandals, and anything coming out about Lily being an addict and Lo also being an addict would just not be good, because Lo's family is also very rich, very wealthy. So they end up fake dating to hide these addictions from everybody. their friends, their family, the public, everybody. But I think this book mostly relates to the lyrics. But I miss screaming and fighting and kissing in the rain, and it's 2 a.m. and I'm cursing your name. So in love that you act insane. That's the way I loved you. And I think that lyric right there, like, so in love that I acted insane. That's the way I love you. That is these two, because they would do anything for each other. And the fact that they are hiding these addictions from everyone through each other, and their love story is so messy, but it's so worth it. Especially if you read the whole series, you see how much these two characters develop, which is why they're my favorite couple, because I feel like if you read from the first book to their last book, the amount of like character development and things they go through is just incredible, and I adore it. So if you like the song The Way I Loved You, would recommend reading Addicted to You by Kristen and Becca Ritchie. Next song we have is Cardigan. I obviously love this song as well, and I think Cardigan mostly relates to Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I've talked about this book before, but I'll talk about what it's about again. I've talked about this probably like 4 or 5 times on my channel, but this is about Elliot and Macy. Macy and Elliot used to date way back. They've been met as kids and they were best friends, and then they ended up dating. Something happened between them. They don't end up talking for 10 years. And then one day, Macy sees Elliot, and this is 10 years later. They have not spoke, they have not seen each other in 10 years. And they run into each other, and immediately, it's like they go right back to where they were. But not exactly, but that like look that they have towards each other is just like, they see each other again for the first time, and they're just like, oh my God, like I'm still in love with you, and I've always been in love with you. And it's just like, that's always, it has that like, it's always been you trope. I don't know this book, always would recommend, but I think that this mostly relates to the lyrics. But I knew you dancing in your Levi's, drunk under a streetlight. I knew you, hand under my sweatshirt, baby kiss it better. And when I felt like I was an old cardigan under someone's bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite. And I just think that just is, it's just their love story. And that lyric right there, because of that past that they have, and then to see their future and see them come back together, I just feel like that's why Cardigan relates to this. So if you love the song Cardigan, would definitely recommend reading Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Next song is Paper Rings. This is also from Lover. This makes me think of Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, because Paper Rings is just one of those songs that's so cute. Like the I would marry you with paper rings, like I love diamond, like, yes, that lyric right there, I would marry you with paper rings, and just the entirety of Paper Rings is a song, Better Than Movies. This book is about Liz and Wes. Liz and Wes have always lived next door to each other. I wouldn't say they're enemies, but they just don't get along. And Wes is always teasing her, always playing pranks on her, kind of vice versa with Liz as well. Liz has had a crush on this boy named Michael for years. And Michael had moved away, and he ends up moving back, and Liz is like, I need to get his attention. Like, I need that epic love story. I need to be with him. And Wes is like, oh, well, I'll help you. I'll fake date you, and like we can make him jealous. But little does she know that Wes has literally been in love with her since they were in 2nd grade, and this is their love story. And this book is just cute. Anytime I describe Better Than the Movies, I say the word cute, because it's just adorable. It's just one of those feel-good, happy, rom-com books. It's young adult, so it's easy to read. So highly recommend Better Than the Movies if you love the song Paper Rings, because the entire song of Paper Rings and just that giddy, happy feeling is exactly what I get when I read Better Than the Movies. The last song is Bigger Than the Whole Sky. This is from Midnights, and I related this song to A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. And this book is so sad, so heartbreaking, but it is so good. This book is about Ruin and Poppy. Ruin had moved away to Norway. Yes, Norway. And Maroon and Poppy had this whole like friendship thing before he left, and he ends up leaving, and then he comes back and he's a completely different boy than he was when he left. And Poppy is just like so confused because she's like, what happened to you? And this is their love story, although little does Ruin know that Poppy is sick and there's only so much time she has left, which is why I related it to Bigger Than the Whole Sky, because you have the lyrics, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You were bigger than the whole sky. You were more than just a short time. And I've got a lot to pine about. I've got a lot to live without. I'm never gonna meet what could have been, would have been, what should have been you. I'm literally gonna cry thinking about it because those lyrics just, that's this book. And if you are in the mood to cry, 1,000 Kisses by Tilly Cole, because this just, I haven't read this book in years. I actually haven't read this book in 2 years. This is one of the first books I read when I got back into reading, and I still think about it every day because it is still, to this day, one of the saddest books I've ever read. So if you like the song Bigger Than the Whole Sky, would recommend reading 1,000 Kisses by Tilly Cole. So those are all the Taylor Swift songs I have as bookmarks for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely can do another part of these videos. This was so fun to film, and these weren't even half of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, so I definitely can do a part 2 if that's something you guys would enjoy, because I love filming this video and I love talking about Taylor Swift and books because they're literally 2 of my favorite things. So please like and subscribe and share. You guys know what to do, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And thank you for 130 subscribers. I feel like I'm always thanking you guys, but thank you for 130 subscribers, because I know I hit that today, the day that I'm filming this. So thank you so much. I appreciate all of you who subscribe and comment and like. Literally means the world to me. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.